What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. The 2026 World Cup is officially underway, and after years of waiting, we finally got our first taste of football's biggest tournament. But before we talk about the football, can we talk about the opening ceremony? No, maybe it's just me, but after seeing what Qatar delivered in the 2022, this one felt a little underwhelming. Don't get me wrong, there were big names on the stage. The music was good. There were the lights, and the atmosphere inside the Azteca was incredible. But I never got that wow, the World Cup is here feeling, like the 2022, for example, like the the Russian opening. Maybe Qatar spoiled us. Maybe expectations were too high, or maybe FIFA's idea of having three separate opening ceremonies means the real blockbuster is still coming. Remember, the United States and Canada are hosting their own opening celebrations, and the American ceremony is probably expected to feature major international stars. So perhaps what we saw yesterday was just the appetizer. Maybe the main course is still ahead. But enough about the ceremony, let's talk football. Mexico 2-0 South Africa, the first game of the World Cup. The host at the Azteca, more than 80,000 fans. And honestly, this one was pretty one-sided. Mexico came out flying and never really looked uncomfortable. They looked faster, more technical, and more prepared for the occasion. South Africa had moments, but Mexico controlled the rhythm of the match from the start to the finish and deserved every bit of the 2-0 victory. That could be more, that could be 3, and that could be 4. And let's be honest, the thing everybody will remember about this game isn't the goals, it's the red cards. Red cards, 3 red cards. 3. For the opening game of the World Cup, 3 red cards. And that got me thinking, maybe referees have received instructions to be extremely strict in this tournament, because if we're seeing 3 red cards on day one, players better adapt quickly. No silly tackles, no relegation, no retaliation, no losing your head. And here's another thing, if you're playing against the host nation, you absolutely cannot give the referee difficult decisions to make, because the crowd pressure is enormous. One reckless moment and your entire tournament can change. Mexico now sit top of the group and have given themselves a fantastic start. Let's move to the second game, South Korea, Czech Republic. If you think Mexico looked comfortable, South Korea looked very dangerous, really dangerous. The first thing that stood out was their speed. Every time they attacked, it felt like they were moving at different pace from the Czech defenders. Transitions were peak and quick. Pressing was aggressive, and they never stopped running. The Czech Republic actually caused problems from set pieces. In fact, both of their goals came from dead ball situations, but the second one eventually ruled out offside. And that tells you and tells us something important. Open play, South Korea looked better. Set pieces, the Czechs remain a major threat. In the end, I think the better team won, to be honest. South Korea deserved the 3 points. They looked organized, energetic, and most importantly, they looked like a team that believes in qualifying from this group. And now Group A suddenly becomes very interesting. Mexico 3 points, South Korea 3 points, South Africa and Czech Republic are already under pressure. One more defeat for either of these teams and things become very difficult. Let's move to today's games. The first game we got is the hosts, Canada, Bosnia. Now, let's look ahead. And I think this one of the most fascinating matches of the opening rounds. You'll be asking why Canada, a team that never won a single World Cup, and Bosnia, a playoff team that wasn't supposed to be here, like it was supposed to be Italy, but they beat Italy. Canada are the hosts. The pressure is massive. The expectations are massive. And when you're a host nation, everybody expects you to start with a win. And I think Mexico's win put more pressure on Canada and the States. They have pace, they have athleticism, they can hurt teams in transitions, and the crowd in Toronto is going to be absolutely electric. But Bosnia era is not finished yet. They didn't just make it off the playoffs, and they are not here to make up the numbers. They are experienced, they are physical, and they won't be intimidated by the occasion. I expect Bosnia to sit compact, frustrate Canada, and try to punish the mistakes. The longer this game stays level, the more nervous the Canadian fans will become. Prediction for this game is really hard for me because I think that the Canadians will have the home advantage, but on the same time I think Bosnia are really ready for this kind of clash. But I'll say Canada 2-1. Home support pushes them over the line. But if I can have a second guess, I will say it will be a draw, 1-1. This is the game that everybody excited for today, USA Paraguay, and I'm most excited about it because the United States are under enormous pressure. They are playing at home. They have the talent, they have the depth, and they know the entire country is watching. The big question is whether they can handle that pressure. Paraguay are one of those teams nobody enjoys playing against because they are very organized, disciplined, aggressive, and they'll be happily turn this into an ugly football match. The United States will probably dominate possession. Paraguay will probably be happy without the ball, just defending. The key battle will be whether the Americans can create enough chances before frustration starts to sit in. If they score early, it could become comfortable. If they don't, this could become one of the trickiest games of the opening rounds. Prediction, logic says USA winning 1-0, 2-0. Not spectacular, not easy, just professional. If United States starts with 3 points, the hype around this tournament is only going to get bigger. So that's my take on day one of the World Cup. A decent opening ceremony, but not quite Qatar, Russia, Brazil levels. Dominant Mexico victory, very impressive South Korean performance, and now all eyes turn to Canada and the United States. But what do you think? Was the opening ceremony from the Mexican side disappointing? Can South Korea challenge Mexico for the first place? Who wins today? Canada, Bosnia, the United States, Paraguay? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because we're covering every single day of the 2026 World Cup right here on the channel. See you on the next one.